Hello, everyone. Can you hear me out there? Hi. I'm seeing that my Stream Deck audio is potentially not working, but hi. Hi, friends. Oy vey. Did I miss anything today? Were y'all able to hear the intro music? Because it looked like you weren't potentially. And now I don't know what to do about that. No intro. Okay, yeah. Cool. Whatever. That's fine. I think we'll be okay anyway. It doesn't really feel like a night, so I didn't do that music anyway. Did hear a boop here and there. I don't know what that means. No fight music. Okay. So, hello everyone. Tonight is gonna be a little different. I had a lot of other stuff that I planned to talk about tonight, most of which did not have anything to do with H3. It was just gonna be like a fun sort of Sunday deep dive on a couple things, but we can't let our queen go undefended, if you know what I'm talking about. So the rest of the plan is in the trash for the night, and that's okay. I will say though, I found some info on Jordan Peterson's whole weird new injury or diagnosis that is very interesting. So if we finish before midnight, my time, which would be in like 2.5 hours, maybe we'll do that on the end, depending on how exhausted I am from what we're about to talk about, because it's going to be a lot. Look, you can see my tan lines. I went to the beach and spent some time on a river in Vermont this weekend, and it was great. All right, so I have a bunch of notes before we start this, okay? I know that we are upset. I know that we are scared. I know because I felt it this morning. I saw it. I had like stopped to get breakfast and I opened my Twitter while I was eating and I see this video clip from Hasan on Twitter saying what he said, and like the ball of anger, and I think there was like some fear there too in my chest and frustration. I mean, I had it in me the whole way home, and I was just really, really upset today about it because I just don't think it doesn't need to be like this, right? That being said, we are going to do this carefully and thoughtfully because I think because of the topic, we as a little baby community here on YouTube, we might have more eyes than usual on us, right? And I don't mean like, oh, people are stalking and blah. I just mean people might be coming in chat with opinions that might be different from ours. People might be just trying to find out what's going on, and I don't want us behaving like Destiny's audience, Hasan's audience, right? Like I want us to model what it's like to talk about hard things publicly. So this is a reminder for you as well as for me, okay? Like, because I also get wound up. Yes, there will be no calls for actual violence, right? We are going to talk carefully and thoughtfully. The number one thing here is supporting Hila and finding healthy ways to express our frustration, and also to try to take a step back and look at the whole more of the situation and what may have led to this, because I have a hypothesis for why this is happening now, why it's happening now. We have a couple of little disclaimers here that will be running for the remainder of the show. The first one is this. Everything I say from here on out is my opinion. I am going to show you an unedited clip of Hasan saying what he said, but everything I deduce from that clip is my opinion. You are welcome to disagree with it. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you anything. It just makes you someone who is disagreeing with my opinion, and that is okay. Nothing I say, here or anywhere, is licensed to harm anyone else. Taylor Swift, give us strength. I will not be impressed or happy if something bad happens to anyone, namely anybody in this situation. So Hasan, Ethan, Hila, none of that will be a good thing. I don't think we need to be harassing anyone. Clearly there is enough of that going on. See how easy that was to say, Hasan? See how easy it was to just be like, guys, be cool? Okay, second disclaimer. And this one's a little bit silly, but I can already feel it coming, okay? This will also be running for the entirety of the show. Oh, why is this short? Oh, no, there we go. Okay, ready? Oh, that's not the one. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Hang on. The other one's really funny too. All right, here we go. I am not a Destiny fan. I have never watched Destiny. I do not care about Destiny. Destiny is not paying me to say this. Neither is Ethan Klein. Okay? This will also be running for the rest of the show. Because anytime I have a criticism of Hasan, this is what I hear. And so if you're going to clip me, I mean, go ahead and clip just, here, right? You can clip out everything and try to make me look bad, but anyone who actually watches the stream is going to see this. Hang on, let me see if I can line it up a little bit better. Nope, that's not it. Hey, there we go. Maybe I'll make me a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay, so those are my two disclaimers. Make it bigger? I can't make it I don't want to make it bigger than that. Should I put it right on my face? Half the screen, yeah. It's just my eyes over it like, hi guys. Can you still see me? Put the subscriber goal too. I thought that was tacky. I thought having the subscriber goal was tacky to talk about something so serious. So I'm not going to put that up. But just know that when I hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to open memberships and we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. Other disclaimers. There are not more scrolls for this, but things are evolving even as I am streaming. So I might miss some things. I might say something that was true earlier today that has been corrected. I will try to check chat if I can. I'm also going to keep my phone facing up. So if anyone who has me on Discord needs me, I'm going to keep Discord open. Just in case I say something or something happens and y'all think it's really important. There's that. And now for chat. I'm keeping it subscribers only. And I've also built in short time limits. So you have to be a subscriber for at least 5 minutes. And also there's a short time limit between leaving comments, which you might have already seen. I'm doing this mostly to help out the mods, just in case things get crazy. I want to give everybody a chance to stay on top of things. And I just want to thank the mods in advance for everything that they're doing, everything that they have done. And yeah, you guys still can't hear my Stream Deck stuff. I don't know why. Anyway, one sec. Let me see if I can re-kick it that way. Test. Hey, there we go. Shout out to mods. Shout out the mods. Yes, please give them love now and forever. And just so y'all know, if you are a mod here, if I make you a mod, you are going to get free membership in my community once we have memberships, because that's the best I can do right now. And hopefully someday I could actually compensate you with real money. There is going to be a lot to cover. I'm not going to be looking at chat a ton, but I will try my best. Please, like I said, be kind to each other. Be kind to new people, even if they come in hot. Give them a chance, right? Give them a chance to come in and settle and see if they're here for discourse and learning, or if they're just here to be abusive. Asking questions instead of immediately responding to their reactionary stuff is a good method to see who's here in good faith and not. Try asking questions instead of popping off, okay? And lastly, for the updates, 1 second here. We have a really great idea from one of our mods. So give me 1 sec. What the is my problem? I know that the suspense is probably killing you. There we go. Sorry, I had the wrong browser open. There we go. There you are, Peter. Okay. Which one of our fabulous moderators who is here in the chat had a really great idea to show a small way to show love to Hila. And so here it is. What is that? Oh, it's on the wrong thing. Hang on 1 second. Hang on. Listen, things have been weird today. My brain is already hurt, so that can't be a good sign. All right, I think I have to open that. All right. Genuinely do not even know what that is. Okay. Here it is. Okay, great. Thank you, Taylor. Welcome. All right, so here it is. Shout out to Witch for this. I officially changed my flair. I am an Hila Kleiner. Nobody probably cares, and that's okay, but I've been a snob about changing my flair from Cameron's Art Club, and I am officially announcing that I am a proud Hila Kleiner. Hila has inspired me as a woman, artist, creator, and mother, and I will not be quiet about my support for her. I encourage folks to do the same, to be outwardly, vocally supportive of Hila. Don't get me wrong. I know me changing my flair is not a thing people give a single shit about. I do. But it's a small way of showing support. I love you, girly. Edit. Also, for anyone who has anything to say about Hila's mandatory conscription in the IDF, you cannot speak of that if you pay taxes in America. It's not hard to withhold your taxes. Many people do it. Her ability to protest would have resulted in prison time. There we go. And look, people are doing it. I've got some Dan the haters. But look, everyone's changing theirs to Hila Kleiner. We love it. We love it. So shout out to Witch for that. I love that idea. It's a nice, easy way just to show love on Reddit. And Hila, if you're watching, which potentially you are because you do know who I am now. Instagram mutual. We love you. We support you. This was completely uncalled for. And, yeah, I'm glad that this is getting as much attention and outrage as it is. Someone may have to show me to do that later. Great. We will have breakout groups later with the Geek Squad to help everyone change their flares. Does that sound good? Great. All right. So I guess we'll just get into it. I saw this morning at like I said, it was like 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm assuming this happened yesterday. But Hasan Piker decided to get on stream and say, and I'm gonna say exactly how, like, what he said. We're gonna watch it. He says IDF soldiers in Gaza and the West Bank are valid military targets of Palestinians right now, which I agree with. But then he seems to allude to Hila Klein for some reason, who has not been in the IDF for almost 20 years, and sort of completely muddies his point and kind of comes off like he is considering her a valid military target now. So here is what he had to say. Loud and clear.
And every type of armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter.
That's the IDF.
If it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids, the violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force is literally legal, definitionally legal. Okay? It's just the truth.
So he says, let's get that again. He says what the Palestinians are doing is legal, even if it's against your favorite podcaster's wife. On what planet did he need to say that?
Armed resistance against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the Palestinians engage in an act of resistance against this illegal occupying force. Favorite podcasters like, doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife that participate in these raids. The violence that the
your favorite podcaster's wife who participated in these raids. Cool. Also, is he wearing... That looks like a soccer jersey, right? I thought he hates soccer. All right, so there's that. There is another clip that... that's not the clip that I saw this morning. I want to try and find that one really quickly, because in that one he talks about it being like... morally valid, as well as being... Oh, here it is. This is kind of like grainy, but this is the one that I originally saw that like made my blood run cold. To be completely honest, I'm not exaggerating at how this made me feel. So here it is.
Matter if they're DFLP, PFLP, or even former Fatah militants. Okay, it is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral. Okay. 100%. This is not like this is not a gray area.
Oh, Hasan, nothing you talk about ever has a gray area. Isn't that interesting?
Is black and white. Okay, it doesn't get more black and white than this. Israel's in the wrong. Israel is actually engaging in an apartheid, which is a crime in and of itself. Israel's doing a genocide in Gaza and an apartheid in the West Bank. Two crimes in and of itself.
Agree.
And every type of armed resistance.
So this is where the clip picks up that we just saw. So he's saying it is
PFLP or even former Fatah militants. Okay, it is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral.
Perfectly legal, perfectly valid, and perfectly moral.
Okay.
All of the violence against the IDF in these situations is perfectly legal, perfectly valid, perfectly moral, right? All of that is like, okay, cool. Sure. Yes. It is moral for the Palestinians to fight back against their oppressor. Now,
against both the settlers and also the Israeli occupying force in the West Bank. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite podcasters like Wife.
Hasn't been in the IDF for almost 20 years. What was the need to put her name in this? If somehow you're new to all of this, first of all, I'm sorry. Secondly, welcome to the swamp. I'm so sorry that you had to learn about all of this crap. So Hila Klein is, or as Hasan refers to her almost always, is a famous podcaster's wife. He doesn't like to use his name when he's calling her out, which is very, very interesting, and we'll get into the misogyny of all this later. So she is the CEO of Teddy Fresh, a clothing company. Her husband is Ethan Klein, who is the your favorite podcaster that Hasan is talking about here. He hosts the H3 podcast. Hasan and Ethan used to have their own podcast called The Leftovers, and that ended in 2023 after October 7th, when the two had a difference of approaches, a difference of opinions about how things were going in Gaza and Israel, how Jewish people were being portrayed, how Hasan was allegedly not moderating his chat for anti-Semitism. So yeah, they had a pretty serious falling out. As for the background on Hila and the IDF, Hila is Israeli. She was born there, and her parents were born there. When she was 18 years old, which was almost 20 years ago, she was enlisted in the IDF. Every single Israeli, except for a few like religious exemptions, everyone has to enroll. It's mandatory conscription. And for women, it's a mandatory sentence of 2 years of service. And during that time, she was a secretary. That was her job. She had a desk job. And the one thing that people like to bring up is that one time she was bored and decided to go on a ride along for a raid in Ramallah. This happened one time. She didn't get out of the car, and she never did it again. Okay? We have no other information about what happened then. People like Bad Empanada, who is a seriously extremist leftist online personality, have decided to start saying she kidnapped someone. I mean, it's just crazy because nobody knows or has any proof of what happened on that single raid nearly 20 years ago. And Hila was just in the car, right? She never went on another raid, and after completing service, she eventually moved to the US. But before she did, she had the opportunity to vote against Netanyahu twice and did. So she has done more to try to stop Benjamin Netanyahu and this far-right government from everything they're doing in Gaza than Hasan and his entire orbit combined. And she did it. So what is going on? I don't understand why he felt the need to put her name into this, besides the fact that he and Ethan are still warring with each other, right? This morning, only the edited clip was up that I saw. And so a lot of us assumed that he was saying that all current and former IDF soldiers are valid military targets, and the internet exploded with that, right? But even since then, even seeing the full clip, right? And knowing that he meant now during wartime, and he meant, if Hila were serving today, she would be a valid military target, or it would have been valid and perfectly moral to have ended her life back then, right? If he had stopped short. Oh.
Vicky Morris King gave $5.
Oh, thank you, Vicky.
Hila here, less than 3 calling for violence against anyone is insane, let alone Hila frown.
Exactly. And if he had stopped at saying what he said about, IDF soldiers being valid military targets, I would have had no problem with it. I would have just realized that, oh shit, I saw this out of context, and that's not what he meant. But no, he had to bring Hila into it, which completely confused his point, and also put a target on Hila's back, whether he wants to think he did or not. Because why on earth did he mention her at all if he was talking about current IDF soldiers? And why did he only mention her? Why didn't he bring up any other former IDF soldiers, right? Why did he have to make this about Ethan and Hila? He had, to me, in my opinion, he had to know that this was going to be the result. He knows how the internet works. He had to know that there would be fallout to this, right? Unless he's just completely lost touch with how extreme his words have gotten, right? And here's why this rebuttal doesn't matter. Here's why, in my opinion, it doesn't matter that he was talking about the past when he did this, when he said this. Because he's saying that if a Palestinian killed her then, it would have been justified and perfectly moral, right? But in the way that he juxtaposed Hila with Palestinians today resisting the IDF, he puts the idea of Hila as an IDF soldier into people's heads, like as a current thing, right? Like as if Hila were a soldier today, in my opinion. And even if it doesn't do that, it reminds people that she was in mandatory service in the IDF, and it reinforces the rabid hatred of her within his fan base. And again, that rabid hatred is being juxtaposed with the perfectly moral, perfectly legal, perfectly justified violence being committed by Palestinians, right? You're like putting those two things side by side. Palestinians would have seen her as a valid target. So should we too? Should we still? Like, does he not realize that it's almost guaranteed that his more dysregulated fans, who are not in Gaza or the West Bank or even Palestinian, how does he not realize that they are going to hear this and potentially think that it is still perfectly moral, if not perfectly legal, to target Hila in any way they'd like? That because she has the stain of the IDF on her, she deserves whatever she gets. If at one point they were complicit, aren't they still? I mean, Hasan's talking about this, saying it's not gray, it's black and white. And I mean, we've seen how his fans talk about Hila. They talk about her like she is a murderer, a terrorist, right? Present tense, is, not was. So to me, it's impossible that he doesn't know that at least a handful of lunatics are going to take this the way most of the internet took it. And as we know, it only takes one nut job to get someone seriously harmed or killed. For someone that is that obsessive about their faves, it's not a huge leap from what Hasan said to some form of vigilante justice that they think will impress Hasan. And in my opinion, Hasan has to know that that is how these crazies work, and he has a responsibility not to stoke their craziness. Plus, we have evidence, right? We have evidence of Hasan, to some degree, rewarding this kind of behavior. Rewarding the behavior of targeting random Israeli citizens. Left-wing influencer Hasan Piker suspended by Twitch after comments about DC shooting. So, when Elias Rodriguez shot and killed two Israeli embassy workers, Hasan read his manifesto live. If I were a nutcase and I had a manifesto, right, as so many of them do, who commit this kind of political violence, I would see that as, oh, if I do something that's against Israel, like hurting Hila Klein, then maybe Hasan will read my manifesto on live. He also said bad empanada is a force for good.
You've got mail.
Alex
okay,
fiction
yeah.
$2. Kate, keep the disclaimers up always.
Okay, hang on. Let me copy them over. Let me copy them over from here. Thanks, y'all. Copy. I love you guys. You're the best. There's the Destiny one. Let me get the other one. Shout out to the crew. I'll make this one a little smaller so you can actually see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah. So to me, this is reinforcement, right? In my opinion, not saying that Hasan is doing this on purpose, but in my opinion, reading the manifesto of
mail.
Oh, thank you so much, Leslie Bean. Love the name.
We love you back, Kate. Heart hands emoji. Heart
Thank you
hands
so
emoji.
much. This would be real attractive to me, right? If I were somebody who was obsessive and fixated on Hasan and wanted to do what he said because I was really in despair about what's happening in Gaza, and he is showing me
mail.
The Queen
Oh my gosh, thank you.
$9.99.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thanks everyone.
You've got mail.
Thank
Clay
you.
Ventures Jr. gave $1.
Yeah, so to me this to me feels like bad behavior gets reinforced. Right? So for Hasan to act like he doesn't know the power of his words and the influence he has over people just feels to me like he's being obtuse, right? If he's going to act like he had no idea that people were going to take it this way, and that if something does happen to Hila, then
You've got mail.
It's not his fault.
Icy Sami gave $2. I'm done benefit of the doubt. He 100% meant it.
That is in your opinion, right? That is in your opinion, right? I don't know what he meant, but to say like I didn't mean it, that's not what I meant, and people are taking it out of context.
Moth
Oh my lord.
gave $4.99. Hila, Ethan, you, and the H3 community standing up against anti-Semitism means small. There aren't many who do it online. It's what made me a fan. Heart with ribbon
Oh,
emoji.
thank you, Moth Romance. Yeah, I think that we can support Palestine without doing this, right? Like without doing whatever this is, right? So, okay, so to act like he doesn't, I might turn off the sounds just so we can get through things, but thank you so much, and I'll read super chats at the end here. Let me see. Oh, I think I can just shut it off here. Where is it? There we go. All right, great. I'm getting the hang of it. All right, so to act like he doesn't know what his words do and the power of his influence, I really do think is him being obtuse, because he has talked at length in print about the influence he has and the purpose he also serves, right? Like he most recently in one of his several recent puff pieces that the internet just hated. Oops. And he talks about the purpose he serves in the progressive leftist world and with these younger viewers. So this is the NPR article. He says, first of all, my audience is pretty diverse. 75% male, A lot of them are white. Like, bro, your audience is not fucking diverse. And they want a sense of community because at least this is what I think that I serve the purpose of. They see all of this stuff happening in the news and they're like, this makes me angry. Why is no one communicating the anger that I'm experiencing? And I think they see me as someone who has shared values to a lot of these people where they go, oh, I get it. This guy gets me. This guy gets exactly what I'm upset about. I've never heard someone verbalize my anger in this way. I've never heard someone communicate exactly my desires in this way. I've felt lonely before. I didn't realize that there were other people who also felt this exact same way. That's my job. Okay? And then we have down here, and I'm just kind of speaking and walking them through the day's news in a way that is, I think, probably easier to digest, in a way that is more personable, in a way where I am angry a lot of times. And I think that anger is something that they also share. That feeling is something that they also share. So they're there for that. Okay. So you are reflecting their anger back. You are mirroring their anger. But then where are you focusing that anger? What are you doing with that anger? Are you giving them an outlet? Because in this moment, it feels like your outlet was Hila. Because you didn't mention anyone else. You tied Hila's face in the mind to righteous violence against Israeli forces and settlers. You called out a specific public person who is easy to find and easy to reach, both online and in real life. I mean, he says in this article, he knows that his viewers are angry. He knows that his viewers are desperate. I've never heard someone verbalize my anger in this way. I've never heard someone communicate exactly my desires in this way. So he knows that these people are angry and frustrated and looking for something to do to help. They feel helpless. And how is he using that knowledge? It feels like he today or yesterday used that knowledge and used his position to stoke hatred against someone who genuinely doesn't deserve it. I can think of a lot of people who do. But there was no need to mention Hila at all. There was no need. And now we're hearing, oh, well, he didn't technically mention her, right? That's what I've been seeing all day. He didn't technically mention her. He didn't say her name. And so now we're going to talk about stochastic terrorism. Here is the definition of stochastic terrorism. The public use of inciting rhetoric, often vague or coded, by an influential figure to provoke violence from a predisposed individual or group, with the perpetrator able to plausibly deny responsibility for the resulting violence. It is a form of political violence where the instigator's actions are not a direct call for violence, but rather a calculated use of language that is statistically likely to incite violence in a susceptible individual. I mean, is that or is that not like kind of exactly what happened? In my opinion, he was essentially saying it is perfectly moral to attack someone like Hila, but he stopped just short of saying it, right? Why invoke her name? Why invoke her essence if she is not someone that you desire action be taken against? Why bring her up if you don't see her still as a valid military target? This is someone who you have allowed to be called a terrorist, a baby killer, Hitler, all kinds of things in your comments. So I don't think it's a huge leap, in my opinion, to think that you still think that she is a valid target. And that's why you decided to give a little wink. Your favorite streamer's wife. But you knew what you were doing, in my opinion, because you left it vague. You didn't say her name. I think you always know what you're doing. Hasan has his own language, like any good cult leader. And his core audience knows what he means when he says things, and he assumes the rest of us might miss it. This isn't unique to Hasan. It seems to me that most hardcore online communities have their own language, their own inside jokes, their own references. The H3 audience is no different there. But how you use that privilege, how you use that community, that connection with your audience, says a lot about you. And here is when Hasan is using it, in my opinion, at the least, is to remind his followers that Hila is evil, in his opinion. I think that is how he has chosen to use this stochastic approach. To hint at her being evil. To hint at her being a valid military target. A valid resistance target, even today, in my opinion. So at the least, he's reminding people she's evil. At the worst, well, like I said, a lot of people today feel like he called for direct violence against her in the present day. And it's exactly what I have been saying about Hasan. Anytime that I have made a video about some new stupid thing that he's done, I have drawn attention to one thing specifically. His knack for maintaining plausible deniability. That might be one of his greatest skills. And it doesn't surprise me that he comes from a rich political family, because no one knows how to stay plausibly deniable, to keep plausible deniability better than politicians. Hasan is incredibly savvy, and he knows how to keep his hands clean, and how to have wiggle room out of situations, and how to let other people take the fall. And you can see it now on Twitter. He didn't have to do anything today. His followers were falling all over themselves to defend him. Saying he didn't even say her name. He didn't mention her directly. Lots of people have wives. How do you know who he's talking about? Girl. Exactly. Going to the ends of the earth defending him. For this. When I really feel like most of them know this was a silly thing for him to do. He sent them to flood different Reddit posts talking about this. I don't know if that's true. Yes, just acting obtuse. Exactly. And that is the stochastic terrorism part of this, right? I might say it's more like stochastic incitement, but the term is stochastic terrorism. So when something like this happens, and this is maybe the worst that I've seen from Hasan lately, it just makes me wonder, how is Ethan still seen as the one who's crazy? How will he be seen as the insane one for getting upset about something like this? People keep talking about Ethan's psychosexual obsession with Hasan and how he's going crazy and won't stop talking about him. But here is Hasan bringing up Hila for, according to his followers, no reason whatsoever, because he's not talking about people that used to be in the IDF. So why did he bring her up for no reason? If he doesn't consider it morally right to harm her, perfectly moral to harm her because she was once an IDF secretary 20 years ago. Why would he put her in that conversation? Why would he put her in juxtaposition with people in the IDF who are valid targets? And that brings me to my biggest question that I've been thinking about since this morning, and I've already seen other people having the same thought. And so this is my question, and I will give you my hypothesis on what is going on. Why now? Why did Hasan take a swipe like this at Hila now, this weekend? Why is this happening now? I think in order to understand why, in my opinion, we need to go over the many recent humiliations of Hasan Piker. This past week's events were not easy on Mr. Piker. Of course, we have the GQ essay that he got absolutely roasted for because it was just like a disgusting fluff piece. I mean, it was basically like homoerotic fan fiction about him. It was not even, it had no journalistic editorial merit at all, right? So here is Hasan maulding, as the kids say, defending this GQ article against blowback he's getting in the chat from I mean, supposedly his fans, right? People who are watching him.
It's not that I think it hurt your feelings, but definitely does not paint a positive view of the general public as someone who should be listened to about politics. You're wrong about that.
Meanwhile, this is the article that opens talking about his Calvin Klein boxers poking out of his pants and sweat beads in his hairy chest. Definitely like a politically sound article.
People don't like that the articles suffer of terminal "that friend does too woke" syndrome. Yeah.
What the fuck did that say?
Only this community will see their favorite streamer get a major magazine article and go, actually, no, this sucks. You shouldn't like this and be happy. I know. But they're wrong. And I think that there's no reason to even go back and forth on whether or not this is negative framing.
Hold for him immediately going back and forth on whether this is negative framing.
Especially considering that my fucking idiotic, drama-laden haters are probably going to do that over and over again. And the same dumb fucks in this chat that were like, oh, well, I told you this was bad, will then relitigate those fucking idiotic, cynical criticisms because they're fucking jealous. Let's be real.
Okay, so now his audience are dumb fucks and fucking jealous of him. These are his audience members. So he's really taking this criticism well, as he always does.
And they will bring that back over here to be like, see, I told you. See, Asmongold said this article sucks. Well, Asmongold doesn't know how to fucking read. Why do you care about what his perspective is? You know?
Because a blind squirrel gets a nut every once in a while.
There's already plenty of fucking relatively sizable communities that literally make it a pivotal part of their content to just like consistently undermine every single thing that I do. I am an experienced media personality.
Bro, you make it pretty easy. Like, all you had to do was not include the idea of Hila in that, and you would have been totally based.
I have an understanding of how these things work. This is literally my professional job, and I'm telling you, my assessment of this is that this is a very good, very humanizing piece.
My completely unbiased, objective assessment of this article about me and how hot I am is that it is a very good article. So there was that. First he gets a lot of blowback about this GQ article, even from his fans, right? And then this might be the most pivotal one. He gets dragged on the H3 show for his weird behavior on Snapchat, where he's getting tons of nudes apparently from female fans And all of his friends have seen them. Like multiple times. Right? That seems kind of strange. And Ethan called it out. And things kind of snowballed from there.
A nude?
So what was the score like? 1, 2, 3, 4 against 1, 2, 3?
Now, is this a cute accident? This is the 4th time. On camera. Just on camera. Do you think he's respecting the privacy of these people sending his nudes? Fucking clearly not. He's waving it around for just anyone next to him to look at. And be like, bro, your phone's full of nudes, dude? That's fucking sick.
Is that a nude?
Nothing good happens on Snapchat. Right. We all thought that when it was James Charles, right? But for some reason now, it's okay because it's Hasan, right? And so that's the double standard that Ethan was calling out. But because of this clip and Ethan talking at length about his Snapchat behavior and sort of sharing things with friends, unfortunately then this clip came out, unfortunately for him, in which he's basically telling his friends an ethical way that he can look at the nudes on their phones. An ethical way to look at nudes that he was not sent. To look at nudes that whoever sent them did not consent for him to see.
So we agree on something. Huh?
How good are the nudes?
Dude, they're
How good are the nudes, he asks.
real. You want to come look? I shouldn't show. I can't. I feel weird. But like, she's like,
Yeah, we did not. If on accident, like maybe I'm walking by and I see it, like
yeah, like one of those.
That's like more ethical, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
no, I
like
feel
you're
you.
directly showing it to me, it's unethical.
But she's like, I let you fill my hole. What are you wearing? I'm like, sweats. So we agree on something.
So he says, if I walk by on accident, then it's nobody's fault. Then Hasan has plausible deniability again. Right? Yeah, it was 3 or 4 years ago. So recently enough. The bottom scroll is not a joke. I have no idea what Destiny does or says. Just FYI, I don't pay attention to him. But yeah, so this again is another example of Hasan and his plausible deniability. So this clip surfaces right after Ethan has talked about the Snapchat nudes and the fact that a lot of Hasan's fans have seen these nudes. So there's that. So now we have the GQ article kind of to some degree bombing online, right? I'm sure a lot of people loved it, but he did get a lot of criticism for it, even from his own fans, and clearly was upset by that, since he did spend some time defending himself and the article. Then he gets dragged by Ethan Klein for the handling of Snapchat nudes. Then, because of that, this clip comes out of Hasan demonstrating the way he tries to maintain plausible deniability in order to look at his friends' unsolicited, like the nudes that his friends were sent, in an ethical way, meaning seeing them by accident. And then his most extreme followers got really pissed about the fact that he had someone named Matt Duss on, who I'm not familiar with. I've never heard this name before, but of course, in the extremist Hasan community, everybody is the devil incarnate. There is like Hasan said, it's black and white, right? So everybody is a Nazi, and so apparently Matt Duss is a Nazi, and Hasan had him on. So this person, who is just such a delight all the time, says, totally reasonable takes all the time. Why does Hasan do cozy interviews with genocidal Zionist Matt Duss, who is one of the most odious scumfuck cunts alive? Can you believe these people? Describing the Palestinian resistance as blood and soil Nazis while playing a key role in spreading the genocidal atrocity propaganda rape hoax. Jesus, take a breath. To progressives and liberals to get their consent for the genocide. But he would never have on people like Aaron Mate, Max Blumenthal, and Ali Abunimah. Hasan, why are you promoting the most odious scum F C word scum alive instead of people who actually do good work? So then they show proof of what a terrible person Matt Duss is, right? And they go on and on and on. So this is being liked and retweeted by tons of people that love Hasan, right? So he is getting pushback from a very extreme corner of his audience. They are very disappointed in him. So that's just adding to it. And even his video about the interview is getting
awesome.
panned. So here is the video he made addressing the criticism. Because again, he's always got to defend himself, right? And maintain whatever image he's trying to maintain. So he puts up this clip from his stream in which he talks about, oh, so I got canceled. He talks about getting canceled for having Matt Duss on. Check out that like to dislike ratio. Now, we know that that's not always the most accurate indicator, but I think by any metric, this is getting panned. This is what getting panned looks like. And if you doubt the accuracy of this metric, you can just look at the comments. The top comments are highly critical. You're not getting canceled, you're receiving good faith criticism from your community. Sir, why didn't you know about Duss's past views? Isn't that one of the points you made to the Nelk boys? So he's just getting slammed. Glad Hasan's getting the pushback he deserves on this. Trying to defend this is stupid, man. You agreed with Bad and Panada and Noah on not letting this slide with people suddenly shifting their position because Israel's crimes are undeniable. When Ethan Klein says it's a genocide, you very understandably don't believe him when he says that. But when this guy, a politician, someone who has way more power than Ethan Klein, says it's a genocide, he's perfectly fine. I will never get over the fact that these people are upset that people are saying it's a genocide. Like, what are we doing? What kind of progress are you really looking for? Brother, you're the one that said shouldn't be allowed to be a local dog catcher. You never said let's give him a soft interview for 2 hours because I didn't do my homework. Right? I won't ever apologize, followed by I didn't know those things about what he said. I wish I did because I would have pushed back on them is crazy. Not doing a proper background check and subsequently not bringing up issues that you should have known about before this interview is the reason why you're being criticized. You're better than this. Just take the L and move on. Is he though? Is he better than this? Like maybe y'all are expecting too much from him. He doesn't have a traditional journalistic background or any journalistic background, right? He was in poli-sci in college. He's very critical of other people not doing their research, but it doesn't seem like he does his. And so he's getting dinged for that real bad. And this is supposedly his audience saying this, right? Someone says, as a longtime fan and regular chatter, I'll simply say that this is a real low point and that this video serves no meaningful purpose to the conversation. So yeah, he's getting hit hard on that interview. And now we have Bad Empanada coming in hot. You know, the always voice of reason, but someone who is, I would say, a very extreme member of Hasan's community, right? Who is also slamming him for this interview. And I think to some degree questioning Hasan's extremist chops, right? Like he's kind of posturing as I'm more hardcore than you, Hasan, you're a pussy, you're a poser, blah blah blah. So here's what he has to say. He also apparently deleted like a lot of tweets. but this is what I was able to grab. Everything would actually be better without Hasan Piker, as his main practical effect is to funnel people to Sanders AOC. God forbid we funnel people to more progressive Democrats, right? But all Democrats are demons. Or another Democratic op of the moment, and thus neuter them entirely as threats to American foreign policy anywhere, not just in Palestine. Hasan's goal is maintaining his own wealth and celebrity. All right, so now he's getting hit. Now he's getting hit for being rich and famous by his own people. That usually comes from the outside. And this means selling Democratic Party entryism as the solution to people who might otherwise do something useful. Him, you, and others like you are immeasurably harmful, more harmful than most Zionists. So this is all because he interviewed this Matt Duss guy, I believe, but there might be more. The best thing Hasan could do for the Palestinian cause is disappear entirely, because his purpose is to funnel people to the Democratic Party and thus continue everything unabated. This goes for lesser morons like you too. I mean, it's insane that he is saying this. And that's how you know, like, in my opinion, this person also can't be trusted, because Hasan clearly hates the Democratic Party, right? But he has a knack for saying things that will get under the skin of Hasan, right? This is to get under the skin of Hasan, in my opinion, by saying he's like the Democratic Party's lapdog, right? And also potentially to poison the well against Hasan when it comes to his fans. So here he is. He retweeted this tweet that we read, Hasan's latest stream guest. So some more evidence of Matt Duss's politics. Fuck Hasan Piker. This is from yesterday. Absolutely disqualifying until the end of time. Anyone who follows him after this should be considered a Zionist. Please keep in mind, I don't take any of this seriously. Badam Banata has lashed out against Hasan in the past, and then he ends up on his stream a few days later. Like, it's very performative. It's like some weird drama he's playing out, but I think it is interesting, and it's also interesting that people listen to him. So, left, Hasan Piker having a nice chat with Matt Duss. Right, Matt Duss advocating for the genocide of Palestinian people. I'm almost positive that's not exactly what he's doing, since Badam Banata likes to exaggerate things. There's no reason for Hasan Piker to boost genocidal Zionists unless he loves their work, and here he is doing it again. The Genocidal Zionist podcast, he boosted is giddy with joy at the exposure he gave them. He needs to immediately apologize and denounce Matt Duss. Now, from what I can understand of Hasan's defense of this, is that Matt Duss is Israeli, or is like on the inside somehow, but could be a good ally for the cause because of his politics, which is literally Ethan and Hila Klein. Like, they are Israeli, they are anti-Netanyahu. It doesn't make any sense. None of this is making sense. These people's behavior does not make sense. It is all just, at this point, feels like posturing. Nothing except unequivocal public denouncement of Matt Duss is acceptable. He did this with Ethan Klein, and he's doing it again. It's on purpose, right? Just like creating this conspiracy theory about Hasan. Hasan Piker has never seen a genocidal Zionist he won't platform. Hasan, if your principle is you will have anyone on to talk and boost their platform as long as they're generally good, even if they're literal genocidal atrocity propaganda, oh my God, so much. I'm not reading all this shit. So they're generally good. These people, the black and white is like a mental illness. And Badam Banata says it's time to dump Hasan Piker. Hasan fans mass reported me. Hasan Piker pretends that anti-Semitism is a serious problem and that Jews are an oppressed group. So that's like just blatant anti-Semitism, right? Like, oh, Jews are hallucinating. And now his 14 IQ audience who can't think for themselves all parrot the same genocide-enabling lies. Hasan will be a regular CNN panelist in a few years, just really trying to get under his skin. And then Ethan Klein should invite me on to talk about our shared hatred of Hasan Piker. So he's getting a lot of fire from, like I said, like the most extreme corner of his community. And I think that I think that Hasan fancies himself that extreme, at least in his mind and his heart, right? And so I think that this is another reason that this happened today or yesterday, why he struck out like this, because it's almost like he's having to prove that he is just as extreme as these other people, to try to claw back, maybe not them specifically, but other more extremist audience members who are listening to people like the squirrel person and the empanada person. And then one of his favorites, another person I do not listen to, do not care about, do not agree with on like mostly anything, but I just think it's interesting because clearly I think he got under Hasan's skin. Asmongold compared Hasan to Trump.
Further than Destiny, Sex Pestiny, who has spent every waking moment in the last 7 years of
Does
this.
Hasan ever recognize that he uses the same all the memes Trump coming up with Little Marco, Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe, Gavin Newscomb, this?
Yeah, it's like the cult language that I talked about.
Does he ever recognize that he's doing this? He does. I don't know if he does or not.
Further than Destiny, Sex Pestiny, who has spent every waking moment in the last 7 years at this point actively coming after marginal left figures, people like myself,
right?
With endless.
Destiny did come after you when he.
So yeah, so just comparing him to Trump, and then also just you can see Hasan there making himself like the perpetual victim, right? It's such Trump behavior. It's such cult leader behavior, right? There's always a point in a cult when it gets really successful, and the cult leader starts going off the rails with the because they're just drunk on power. They always start making it seem like there's someone trying to attack them from outside, right? And so you can hear that sometimes in Hasan stuff too. There's a paranoia to it. Okay, so that is most of the humiliations that Hasan has suffered just in this week alone. That's a lot, right? I mean, think about the GQ article. Feels like it happened a month ago at this point. But the last one, the biggest one to me, and maybe it's the least consequential, but apparently Hasan was uninvited, or maybe never invited, to participate in the streamer games because he's not brand friendly. And this is an event run by his friend. And he still was not able to use his connects to be invited. So here's what he had to say about it.
Why aren't you doing the streamer games? AT&T is part of the sponsors, and AT&T doesn't fuck with me. It is what it is.
Oof. That's got to be tough.
Why aren't you doing the streamer games? AT&T is part of the sponsors, and AT&T doesn't fuck with me. It is what it is.
Do you guys want to know why AT&T doesn't fuck with him? Because I know that. I know why AT&T doesn't fuck with him. So apparently, this past December, AT&T, JP Morgan, and also Dunkin' Donuts, which I don't know if it's mentioned in this. Oh, yeah, it is in here. They pulled their advertisement. Shut up, Forbes. They pulled their advertisement on Forbes due to the growing claims about anti-Semitism on the platform. And so Hasan specifically was targeted as part of this. One of its most popular streamers, Hasan Piker, was accused of anti-Semitism over streams from Piker regarding Israel's invasion of Gaza. So this is essentially how it happened. I don't remember the exact anti-Semitism moment. It was from December of last year, but this was the one that caused even a representative from New York to write a letter. Well, actually, maybe this letter has it. Oh, okay. Mr. Piker has demonized Orthodox Jews as inbred. Okay, this is is this fallout from the content nuke? And has demonized a Jewish man as a bloodthirsty pig dog. The association of Jews with pigs and bloodthirst is textbook anti-Semitism. It doesn't matter if rape happened on October 7th. It doesn't change the dynamic for me. Palestinian resistance isn't perfect. This is just everything that's come out. I do think this is a content nuke fallout, or maybe it was something before that, but I mean, Ethan was already hammering this stuff. He has no issue with Hezbollah. We know that Hezbollah's flag is like the coolest flag according to him, right? Piker has even gone as far as to incite violence, telling his followers to kill and murder people in the streets and let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood. And I think since this article, we also have him threatening violence against Rick Scott and Tom Cotton, right? So yeah, this is huge. Like, this was a massive explosion of criticism against Hasan, and he is still feeling the effects of it, because now he can't go and do the little streamer games for Red Bull along with Ludwig, who is his friend that is running this event. So I mean, it turns out you can try to traffic in plausible deniability all you want, but the major brands don't fuck with that. They're not even gonna get close to you if you're doing that shit. And like, I mean, be as radical as you want, right? But yeah, it's eventually gonna impact your bag and your ability to participate in things. And I guess we're at the find out portion of that, right? Like, since last year, there's been a lot of finding out for Hasan. And this week, apparently, I mean, this week was, in my opinion, seems to have been exceptionally tough, but maybe this is just a normal week for Hasan. I mean, I don't pay super close attention to him, but when I looked back over this week, thinking about my hypothesis of, does he lash out and say more extreme things when his ego has been bruised? There's a lot of shit. There's a lot of shit that could have bruised his ego. So yeah, my general hypothesis going into this, after thinking about it today, was, is he ramping up his extremism, and has he done this in the past, when his ego gets slammed, when he feels his audience pulling away for something he's done or being critical of him? Does he feel the need to posture a little more, say things that are a little more radical, a little more out there, to sort of pull those people back in? And also, like, reestablish himself as this, like, radical propagandist that he says he is? Like, does he feel like that's being challenged right now? And so he had to say something crazy? And of course, it's not lost on me that he decided to say it about a woman. And my secondary hypothesis is there a pattern of this behavior? Like, has he ramped up the tone and temperature of his attacks against Ethan and others after he's had a rough week or day in the media? Like, is that when he tends to lash out, when he's sort of soothing his ego and licking his wounds? Since all of this just came out this morning, I haven't had time to research historical data, but it is definitely something that I'm keeping in mind for sure. And do you see how I can frame things as a hypothesis, a question, in order to not, like, incite hatred and attacks at people? I think it's more strategic than that. It was a warning shot at Ethan. But that's a piece of it, right? That's like the posturing, the swaggering, the, like, he's trying to, like, reset his boundaries, reset his image in his own ideas, right? In my opinion. Also not a Destiny fan. I have never watched Destiny. I don't care about Destiny. Destiny has nothing to do with me. So there we are. Let me see some of these super chats, because I know you guys were throwing stuff in. I really appreciate it. Hila, Ethan, and you. Oh, we saw that one. Moth Romance. Okay, so I've been saying, this is Shaylee. Thank you, Shaylee. I've been saying I'm so worried for Hila, Ethan, and their family. It's only getting worse. I, too, have been literally boiling inside seeing the narrative lately, struggling to stay level-headed anymore. I know. It's really rough, and I hope that they are considering like getting a security detail when they leave the house. I really, really do hope so. No, subscribers, comms. Well, let's check. Let me just turn it on for a sec. Where are we at here? Why? Oh, because you have to go up here. I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, there we go. Nah, we're nowhere close to 10,000, brother. No memberships yet. Okay, so let me check in before we move on to the next piece of this. How are things in chat? How are things going? No, Steven, it's okay. You didn't derail. We need to take a little break anyway. Hasan is a Leo. That explains everything. Male Leos sure are something. A sex pest and weirdo. Yeah, that's like that term is like so Trump coded. It's also like so Russia, like Russian, like kompromat, you know? All is well, mods are on point. We had a few funny characters, but they're gone now. Honestly, I'm feeling grateful that my little, I mean, maybe requiring subscribers to chat is helping a lot, or maybe the cuckoos just haven't found us. Alex, calm the fuck down. Kate pissing my ass to me. You're such a fool. 500 viewers right now. Holy shit. Thank you, everybody. Good Lord. Numbers are so good. Yeah, I'm so glad. Okay. So that's like how I've been thinking about it. These are all my thoughts about it. I know y'all have been sharing your thoughts in the comments. And so, yeah, my main hypothesis, or I guess my main points are that I think that Hasan knows what he's doing. I think that he lashed out today or yesterday at Hila because he has had a rough week online, and this was a way for him to sort of reestablish himself as edgy while also taking a swipe at Ethan for calling him out and kind of getting a snowball rolling. You missed my story about Rum Tub Tugger on BBC Radio today. What? What? Shout out to SNARKER. I know you losers are watching and want to chat so badly. Come on, give me your subs. All right. So that, like I said, that's what I think. And then my hypothesis is that all this is happening because of that rough week that he's had, and his ego is bruised. But also, like, you gotta find a better way to deal with it, dude. Like, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep lashing out with these, like, stochastic, sort of subliminal threats and subliminal encouragement and insinuations without someone getting hurt. Like, someone's gonna get hurt. And then that person's going to either be hurt or put in jail or both. And you're going to say, wasn't my fault. Wasn't my fault. Like Trump on January 6th, right? Like Charles Manson after the Sharon Tate murders. Wasn't my fault. I wasn't there. I didn't do anything. Those crazy bitches just did it on their own. I had nothing to do with that. Stochastic terrorism. So let's look at some of the replies. We'll start with Mr. Ethan Klein, and then we'll go into Hila's. Just see what folks have been saying about this. Okay, so this morning, which was about, it looks like this was about the same time that I saw what was going on. We have Ethan sharing the clip that was first going around, and he says, bro, what the fuck? And then same time period, he says, so if I started saying shit like Hasan is a Hamas propagandist and therefore a legit military target, which I do not believe, everyone is going to be okay with that, This is the 4th time a leftist Twitch streamer has explicitly called for me or Hila's death. Nobody has been reprehended. I think he meant reprimanded and apprehended are both. Reprimanded for these death threats by Twitch, not once. For comparison, on YouTube, I like that it gives the comparison here. Bad Empanada played a FPS game where you play as Hamas and murder Israelis. He simulated murdering Hila in the game. Again, didn't say her name, right? Oh, I'm looking for secretaries. But everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. And as a result of this, Bad Empanada caught a week-long suspension. He hasn't wished death on either of us on YouTube since then, as he knows there are repercussions for making death threats on YouTube. So this could very simply be solved by Twitch if they tightened up their terms of service, or at minimum started like enforcing the existing terms of service, right? Across the board, without favorites, without exceptions to the rule. Sneeko, we don't need to talk about that. Hasan Piker might be cooked. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. So this is what is really annoying. And this is going to get us into talking about Hasan's misogyny. So here is what Hasan's reply was to Hila. Actually, let's do Hila's first. Let me do Hila first. Let me get Hila up, because this directly relates to her stuff. Because of course, this is going to tip into misogyny, which is one of Hasan's favorite languages. Save me. All right, so 9 hours ago, Hila just says, just another Sunday. Oops, you can't see that. There we go. I'm just gonna make myself a little smaller. What the fuck's happening here? There we go. I'll move me over here. Hey guys, I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay. So poor Hila says just another Sunday. And then she unleashes with this one. Hang on. Okay. Back again. Hasan Piker, who was exposed by my husband to be a disgusting creep, which was the Snapchat thing that happened this week, has retaliated by calling for violence against me. Which is what my hypothesis is, right? That this is how he's clapping back. He's swiping at Hila in order to get back at Ethan. Think back and you'll notice a trend. When he wants to get at Ethan, he attacks me. This is just another, and he's not the only one, right? Keemstar did it, calling her a witch. Multiple people have done this. Snarkers do it all the time, right? They always go after Hila because they can't get to Ethan as easily. They know that Hila maybe is more sensitive, or maybe they assume she is because she's a woman, more vulnerable, so they tend to target her. This is just a glimpse into the psyche of a man that does not see women as his equal. He uses women to whatever end he needs, be it revenge, sexual gratification, or to massage his ego by exposing their nude bodies without their consent to his boys. Fucking get him, Hila. And this is Tom. We will talk about that one after. But let's go back to Ethan. And what Ethan had to say in response to that, because it's directly what I was putting together as I was walking through Hasan's reaction to this shit. All right, so here's what Hasan had to say about Hila's response to him.
By my husband to be a disgusting creep is retaliated by calling for violence against me. Think back and you'll notice a trend when he wants to get...
Oh, he reads it so fast when he doesn't want you to hear what it is, doesn't he?
At Ethan, he attacks me. This is just another glimpse into the psyche of a man who does not see women as his equal. Okay, dude. This is literally girl bossing genocide defense.
Girl bossing genocide. So he can't. This is the classic response of Hasan, just dismissing a woman's criticisms of him because they happen to mention his misogyny. If you bring up misogyny and that he potentially doesn't treat women well, then your criticisms are unimportant. Your criticisms are invalid. And this isn't just a Hasan problem. This is a male leftist problem. Like, I am seeing this happen on Twitter right now. There is a user, her name is Hana Katana, and she has been calling out she's been calling out the misogyny that she's finally seeing in the male leftist community, in response to what I believe is male streamers and male leftists in general denying sexual assault accusations and things of that nature. Like, I'm seeing this happen over there, and then you see Hasan saying Hila's response to him, in many people's opinion, calling for violence against her is just her girl bossing a genocide. And it's just classic male leftist sexism to discredit and dismiss a woman's valid points about the way he talks about and to women as Hila just doing identity politics, as just being a girl boss. The misogyny that Hila is talking about is directly related to what's happening, right? You, in many people's opinion, you are lashing out at Hila to get back at Ethan for criticizing you publicly about the way you treat women, and specifically about the way you treat the nudes you receive from women. Is that Ethan boy bossing a genocide, or is it just something you can dismiss when a woman talks to you about it? Like, you are a rich, white, privileged American man. It is not your place or your privilege to punch down at women. You don't get to use the word girl boss derogatorily, and you don't get to use Hila's gender as a reason not to take her opinion about you seriously. Especially when her opinion is necessary because of the alleged threat that you have leveled against her. This is the kind of shit that makes me completely divorced from online leftism. I still consider myself a leftist, but seeing the way that men run online leftism and the way that they discredit and dismiss women in this movement, not just their issues, right? Not just like the issues that impact us, but also, our allegations against leftist men of assault and being taken advantage of and exploitation. The way they all still cape for each other and the way they dismiss women's complaints, it's all just rape culture wrapped in a little Marxism. And it's gross. She's girl bossing a genocide. Just like the condescension in that. And again, that's an example of Hasan using his thought terminating cliches, his cult's favorite buzzwords. Girl boss is how you insult liberal women. Right? Talk about a genocide and no one can say anything to you. No one can criticize you. If you bring up the genocide, no one can criticize you. Thought terminating cliches. Just ridicule the people and shame them, and they can't fight back. So we saw Hila's response, and then we also got Tom Ward's response. Shout out Tom Ward for this. So here's Tom Ward. That's Hila. Here's Tom Ward. I loved how direct Tom is with this shit. I've had enough with Hasan and his fucking goon squad. No matter where you stand on Israel-Palestine, how could you target someone like Hila Klein? She's generous, kind, caring, and an amazing wife, mother, and boss, and hasn't harmed anyone, so go fuck yourselves. Fucking hell yeah, Tom. Wom Ward, for sure. So that's what we've gotten so far. I will say I'm also seeing online like pushes for the crew to weigh in publicly, and that this is like a line in the sand. We're not doing that. We're not doing that because that is what Hasan would do. That is what Hasan's audience would do. Right? And what that is, it's not about the crew. It's about you feeling like there's nothing you can do in this situation. And so you want to hold other people accountable. You want someone else to do it for you. You want to be able to get a reaction and change the way someone is acting. Because you're not going to get to Hasan, right? So you're going to try to get to the crew because you know the crew reads Reddit, you know the crew reads their Instagram comments or Twitter or whatever. What we're not going to do is bully or harass or threaten or intimidate the crew into doing anything publicly, because we all know they are good people and that they are being supportive of Ethan and Hila where it counts, which is in person every day, okay? It's also okay to have the opinion that you think that the crew should do something publicly without putting it online, right? I feel like we forget about that. We forget about the option of having the opinion, sitting with it, telling a friend about that opinion, but not putting it online and not having like a movement around it, right? Like, I highly recommend, if y'all don't have this already, I highly recommend making a friend in the H3 community that you can chat with about stuff that you probably shouldn't put on the subreddit. You know? Unpopular opinions, things that might not be, public ready. A buddy system, exactly. We all need like a group chat that is offline in some way. I'm not acknowledging that anyone has any opinion. What I'm talking about in general, I have had a lot of opinions about this show over the years. But you gotta know when to put those opinions online and when to keep them in your heart or share them with a friend. Do you want to know how I've made friends in the past? If someone has said something I agree with on Reddit and they're in the community, I'll just message them and be like, yes, totally agree. That's all you gotta do. The worst that happens is they ignore you, right? Yeah, the Discord is also a place to make friends. But again, I think that you should keep it like one-on-one. Instead of putting it out into the ether. Can you assign buddies so I don't get left out? I'm always picked last. Oh God. Okay, so what is my opinion on all of this? I mean, I think I've said a lot of it, but let me just wrap up here and say what I think about Hasan in general. I mean, I've sort of hinted at it, right? Talking about the stochastic terrorism, talking about cults and things like that. In my opinion, Hasan is he's not the revolutionary he wishes he had the courage to be. He is more of a Charles Manson type cult leader, in that he is insecure, easily angered, And when his ego is bruised, he is desperate to recover from that bruising and to sort of reestablish his image with his flock. And he's so desperate to get some kind of impact, some sort of show of force, but he's never wanting to get his own hands dirty to make that happen, right? He's letting other people take the fall for him. And I don't want to see that happen here. I don't want to see someone read what he said about Hila in the way that a lot of us heard it. Because I don't want Hila to get hurt. I don't want Ethan to get hurt. I don't want their kids to get hurt. Because even though he's only hinting at these targets and hedging his words and, you know, shrugging his shoulders and wiping his hands of it and, oh, you know, maybe it's not a psyop, but it sure looks like one. I don't know. Even though he's doing that, there are crazy people who will take him seriously. People who really value his takes because they are so upset, so angry, as he's admittedly said, about what's happening in Israel and Palestine. They're so angry that they want to do something. And Hasan continues to serve them the scapegoats of Ethan and Hila, and here specifically Hila, who again has had no connection with the IDF since she was like 20 years old. Nearly 20 years ago. Like somehow Hasan is both bloodthirsty and bloodless in his commentary, right? He's like so often calling for violence, either directly, like he did with Rick Scott and Tom Cotton. He's like so often calling for violence, directly or indirectly. But then at the same time, he isn't putting his body on the line at all. Like, this is what he did today was the antithesis of standing 10 toes down. So what's going to happen to Hasan? The cynical side of me thinks probably nothing. I don't think that he's been banned. He probably won't be banned. If he is, it'll be short. Yep, nothing's happened to him yet. Maybe he'll get a 24-hour ban because Twitch is getting some heat about this and they just want, you know, to go through the motions and pay lip service to the people that are upset. Is what he said today worse than what Mike from PA said about Jewish people or Jewishness not being an ethnicity and being a demonic ethnicity? I think it could be. I think it could be more dangerous because it's so targeted. Right? So did Mike get a full week? I thought it was 3 days. Right. The distinct target of it is the issue to me, right? Like, and like I said at the top of the stream, he had me in the first half, right? Like, I totally agreed with, like, yeah, the active IDF are valid targets for Palestinian resistance, right? But then he had to go off the beaten path with his own ego shit. And then he brings a private citizen into the mix. And that private citizen is the only person he mentions as an example of valid military targets. To me, that's worthy of some kind of ban. So I don't know what's going to happen. In my opinion, it seems like Twitch has different rules for different streamers, and they could just ignore this. They could give him a slap on the wrist. Like, I don't think there is anything Hasan could do to get a permanent ban from Twitch. Short of like killing someone on stream, right? So I don't know. I'm not sure what is going to happen. But all we can do, all we can control, I mean, you can at Twitch if you want. You can look to see like who their sponsors are or whatever else is going on, like whatever. Like to me, that's less important than just showing love and support for Hila. Again, Witch had a great idea to do something just small and symbolic, which is to change your flair to make yourself an Hila Kleiner. And so I recommend doing that for sure. Let's see if it's happening over here. So if you haven't done that yet, it's just a great little thing to do to show your love. So that's it. I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. I was really upset, and the being upset did not go away when I saw this famous context that his cult sweepers were talking about. You know, like it just felt worse. And now I'm thinking ahead to tomorrow when we're supposed to have this cool new format for the H3 show / podcast, and I'm like, there ain't no way we're not going to be talking about this tomorrow. You know? And I mean, like, what are they supposed to do? Not talk about it? Like, I know people are frustrated, although I think a lot of the frustration is like overblown. But genuinely, what are they supposed to do? Just ignore it? There's Destiny fans on Reddit on our sub right now? Is anyone finding the sub an absolute hellhole as of late? I'm not, but honestly, I'm not on it that much because I got a 7-day suspension, but it's up tomorrow, I think. So, but it wasn't because of H3. Like they were talking about me on the one of the Snark subreddits, and I was just gonna leave like a cheeky comment, but I forgot that they had already blocked me on my account that I had before I started my Girl with a Microphone account. And then they also blocked my ability to even talk to the mods. It's like, y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. So that's it. I don't know what's going to happen, but like I said, just show your love to Hila and Ethan and the crew if you can, because you just know that they're getting it from all sides right now. And we'll see what else happens with this. Like, we'll see if it goes anywhere, if anything materializes, you know that we will talk about it, and I'm sure they'll talk about it on the show too. Tomorrow, I am back with a normal H3 after party. Same place, same time. And maybe I'll be able to cover some of the other stuff I was going to talk about tonight. But for now, I think I'm going to call it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you. Oh, shit. Wait, Hasan's defending what he said? Oh, my God. What a fucking ding-dong. Like, it doesn't matter what he says in defense because it's just going to be the plausible deniability shit, right? It's just going to be him. Yeah, okay, so here it is, 39 minutes ago. When anyone joins an occupying force and participates in a raid in illegally occupied territory, West Bank, the occupied people have a legal right to defend themselves through armed struggle. This right doesn't extend outside of the combat. People framing this negatively should take it up with the UN. Okay. The problem is not the exact thing you said, it's the fact that you invoked a specific person in juxtaposition with the idea of armed struggle being perfectly moral, right? He didn't have to mention her. I think most of us would have agreed with him until he said that, right? That just muddied the waters. It confused people. It will most certainly confuse and embolden the worst of his fans, right? I'm not saying that all of his more logical fans will feel the same way, right? But some people are going to hear that and say, oh, well, if Hila was a valid military target then she still deserves to pay for her crimes. Right? He tweeted that. Why did he even tweet that? Anything, this is not why people are mad. Right, but he's always just obfuscating and trying to make it about something else and trying to like reframe the narrative, right? That's the point. That's why he tweeted that. Yes, he's still referring to Hila. He does say this right doesn't extend outside of combat, right? He makes that clarification. But still, participates in a raid, as in the single one that Hila was in the car for, in the vehicle, whatever it was, right? It's dumb. It's dumb. It was a stupid thing to say, and he should have just said, I shouldn't have mentioned her because it confused my message. That's what he should have said. But Hasan appears to be incapable of apologizing, and that might be his biggest flaw and his biggest downfall. Like, just fucking apologize, bro. Or not, you don't even have to apologize, just be like, that was dumb. Like, I shouldn't have even brought it up. Exactly, it's bad for propaganda. So yeah, there's that. Thank you for letting me know the update. I mean, this has just been going so fast today. Oh, Lord. All right. Well, this was fun. I hope y'all had a decent time. And I hope y'all are taking care of yourselves. Do we think that I can get rid of the these yet? We can get rid of these. Ah, that's not what I meant to do. Let's get rid of these while we're sitting here. Ooh. There we go. All right. So like I said, I will be back tomorrow. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you again and again and again to the mods. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. I appreciate y'all so much. Go show some love to Hila on Instagram and Reddit. And we will see y'all tomorrow, okay? Bye, everybody.